Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hello, friends. Hello, foes, and welcome to the Comedianons. It's a podcast we tried to start when we were 13, and it's 2021 now, so do the maths. I don't care. I don't remember how it goes. My name is Josh, and obviously, joined to me today, it's a man who I'm reliably informed had an integral part in inventing the Ziploc bag. It's Jono. How you going, man?
Welcome, Josh. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on my show. I really
Thank you for
appreciate
thanking me.
I did indeed have a hand in making the Ziploc bag.
What
and
part of it?
I hate to break it to you. I'm not able to do the math. You told me to do the math. Not able to do it. Worst subject in VCE, and I failed physics at uni. So
I
you do the math.
Yeah, I can't, and I made it very clear. So,
but we're not here to do maths, are we?
We're not here. We're here to talk, and that's what we do best. I have to say. I'd like to propose a new segment for the podcast.
Okay, I'm always happy. We got to build our bank of segments. We got
to build up the bank, and even if it's a bad one.
Exactly. When you start with nothing, you got to add something.
Yeah, you got to add something, and it's either going to be really good and funny, or it's just going to be sad.
Do you know
what? I'm going to be honest.
What Ed Sheeran said when he went to a school and he was talking to kids about songwriting, and he said his one piece of advice is write as many songs as you can because the first 300 are going to be terrible. So, our first 300 segments stinkers,
absolute junk.
Yep. And so let's add another one to the pile.
And it's going to be called Josh Gets Irrationally Angry. Can
I make a guess about what this is?
Go ahead.
It's about you getting unbelievably happy at everything.
That's true. Yeah. That is exactly correct.
Let's hear it.
I want to define it first.
Yes. All right. Okay.
Because it's not being annoyed at something. Being annoyed, there's usually a reason.
Yep.
And it's not being angry because that's probably leading
that's being
towards
a Karen.
What? That's being a Karen.
Yeah.
This is just something that I have I should have no problem with.
Yeah. And you realize within yourself that you should have no problem.
Yeah, I'm self-aware of the fact that
it's not someone telling you don't get angry. You're just going,
no.
Why am I so upset about this? I get it. I get that.
Right. And today's episode is going to be supermarket themed.
Yes.
Because it's probably one of the only times I actually feel like I'm anywhere but my home right now.
Yeah, it's the only thing you can actually do.
It's the only time.
I drove for the first time in a month on the weekend, and I went to Coles, and I went to one Coles further away than the closest one, so shoot me, but it was exciting.
I love a good big Coles.
This was a medium-sized Coles. I think it wasn't one of the ones that has double aisles. If it's a double aisle Coles, it's too difficult, too much.
I don't like the double aisles. The double aisles are too
confusing,
good.
especially when they don't 100%. Line up. It's like canned goods, and then it goes into pots and pans.
Yeah, it's weird.
I
don't like it. Not a fan. But it particularly has to do with sort of etiquette in a supermarket. I don't have a problem with the flow. Because everyone knows what the flow is, right?
Yes.
We don't need to tell people what the flow is. Because everyone knows you sort of do some version of a wiggly snake through it when you're in a big shop.
You might start at a different end. I know most people start at fruits and veg where the entrances is.
Right.
I start on the other end, so then you can do fruit and veg last.
Madman.
I know. It's kind of like going against traffic, which means your entire side of the aisle, the left-hand side, no one's using.
Free.
It's free.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. The problem is when there's the normal flow and you're just there to get 3 items, you suddenly have to be very targeted in knowing what you want and where it is. Otherwise, you do that thing where you spend 5 minutes running around through aisles.
I have a theory about supermarkets.
Go ahead.
If I may interject, I think
100%.
the fewer the number of items you have, the longer it takes in the shop. If I go in for a big shop, it helps the flow. But if I'm just looking for 2 or 3 things, then I break out of the flow because I think I don't need to do every single aisle in the Wiggly Snake. I know where it is, but I don't know where it is. So I'm just walking back and forth for no purpose.
Especially if you've looked up an item that should be in store.
You know it's in stock.
And you know it's in stock, but it's not where it should be.
That's no good.
For me, it's always with stuff that is maybe cuisine specific.
Yep, gotcha.
If it's I want to go find miso paste. It might not be where I think it is, but it's in the sauces for some reason.
Yes.
Why is it in the sauces?
It should
whoever
be there.
puts it shouldn't be in the sauces, but it's in the sauces for some reason.
Yeah.
But getting to the thing that makes me irrationally angry.
Yes.
This has to do with people who will stand in front of a section of the of the aisle, right?
Yep.
And they might be looking at something, but they spend more than like the traditional 45 seconds. I think you're allowed to stand there
That's
before
even
someone
getting
is
up there,
allowed.
I reckon.
And I feel like you've got a timer of probably, and this is probably at the max 45 to maybe a minute of standing there looking at something before someone's allowed to stand up next to you and look across to you like, are you done so I can get the things
slowly,
I want?
you're standing like 2 meters away and then you get a meter
Yeah.
away and then 45 centimeters, you're like pushing them
Slowly
out.
shuffling.
Your
And you're like,
timer
come
is
on, man.
getting
Come
towards
on,
the
man.
end.
Move
Yeah.
along. And so I'm sitting there. I wanted to get, I think it was like some sauce or something.
Yep.
And this guy's standing there looking at like the preserves or whatever. And I'm standing there going, come on, come on, come on. I'm like, okay, he spent about the 45 seconds I expect him to spend. So I saddle up probably about 2 meters behind him. As he said, I give him the look like, are you done?
It's my turn now, sir.
It's my turn, please. I'd like to move. You can see I have one basket and you have this whole trolley.
Get your
You've got
apricot conserve and get out of here.
Yeah, you've got a whole meter of space that you take up when you go next to an aisle,
That's true.
right? You take the space that it takes for you to stand and maybe what you're holding, or it takes you the space for you to stand plus the trolley that's about like nearly less than a meter probably.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there taking up a meter and a half of space. And I'm going, come on, man. Just let me I need to just reach across. And I was so close to just doing that awkward, like reach across the
It's
reach
like at the
across
dinner
trolley.
table where you don't want to interrupt someone and get them to pass you something, so you reach across and you try and get the dinner roll.
Right. It's the end of the Space Jam with Michael Jordan reaching across trying to put the basketball into the basket. That.
In
and
this
I'm
situation, had you found on the shelf what you wanted? Like from your
I had visually clocked.
I visually
clocked it.
You locked eyes.
Locked in on it, and I was going from it to the guy, like, come on, man, just move.
I've got a question about this situation. I've got a question because there's something very related to this situation that absolutely does my head in. And
is this the second segment? Jono gets his head done in.
Jono gets his head done in. That'd be about everything. But is I think a good way to solve the problem that you're talking about when people who are looking at shelves, because your guy, I assume, was standing fairly close to the shelf. Would I be correct in saying that?
You'd be correct, yes.
When I'm looking for something and I know I don't really know where it is, what I'm looking for, like if I'm looking for a certain type of spice that I've never heard of before.
I can see where your head's going. I think I know.
I stand
You're saying there should be
I stand against the other shelf. Yeah. Because then people can walk past, no dramas.
Right. There should be at least like a 30 centimeter breaching zone, like at a train, like a line.
Exactly, the mind the gap. You have to
stand behind, the mind the gap.
Enough so that someone, if they started to reach in, I could step back. Yeah, I think something like that is what's required.
I think you've got a genius point.
I think because we are not at the stage where we've been supermarket shopping for 60 years. We're in our 20s. We've probably only been doing it for 5 or 6 years. We don't know where anything is yet. If you tell me get some tahini, I have to go in every single aisle to look for it. I don't know where it is. And then when I get to the section where I think it is, I've got to really carefully scan it.
But you have an option. You can either choose to stand up and take space right up at the shelf. That's what they're called.
The shelf.
As they're usually known by the kids as shelves.
Common colloquialism, shelf.
Common colloquialism, shelf. Or you can stand 3 steps back and you might be in the middle, but you've got bit of vision to either side so you can see anyone who's coming, and you can let the person who's standing there giving you eyes like, come on, man, move.
You can let them come in, yeah.
Yeah. That, or there should be a priority lane. There should be like there's an express lane. There should be a priority lane.
It's like the people who are on their stuff. They know what they're doing.
There should be like a colored in lane in all the supermarkets on either side. So they should be wider. I mean, they're making them huge now anyway. You got heaps of space to do this. All right. Listen to this. Ready? Yep. So you got the middle lane, which is trolley only. So you can only put the trolley in the middle lane. Oh. Anyone's allowed to walk either side of it.
So it becomes a one-way. It becomes a one-way supermarket. Yep.
Right? It becomes a one-way. Anyone who's holding a basket, that's what they're commonly called, as you know, and they're holding a basket. They are allowed to go either side of it.
Yep.
And they pass through quicker.
Yes.
This is my idea.
Because they're the people that have probably done a weekly shop, but they're just doing top-ups.
They're just there to quickly zoom in and get to things.
What about, I haven't really seen these post-COVID. I don't know why. They must spread the virus or something. But those baskets that you and I would never have used because we're abnormally tall, but that have like a little handle
that you hold
and you drag them behind them? Yeah.
Got you.
Where are they allowed to go?
They're in the zoom lane. They're in the priority lane. They're in the priority lane because
they're allowed to overlap in the line.
But they're like a suitcase that you drag behind you.
Yes,
I reckon you've got enough space to sort of make yourself thinner to get across.
Yeah,
if you got a big.
It's the same width as a basket. It's just on the floor instead of holding it up.
Exactly.
Joshua, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we're in a lockdown. And if that's news for you,
I had no
idea.
I had no idea.
You'd be forgiven for forgetting if we'd come out of a lockdown, but unfortunately,
what's a lockdown?
We're still in it. It's just what I like to call life. But
sounds about right.
My biggest problem with the lockdowns, it's not actually like anything that you would expect. It's not the politics. It's not Dictator Dan. It's not the tradies protesting on the Westgate Bridge, even though I do have a big problem with that. But
of course,
it's a personal gripe. And it's a selfish gripe, but it's a gripe nonetheless. And
that's what the show's about. I feel like
exactly.
So far, this specific show, a lot of gripes.
What I think should be called the Karen episode.
It may well be.
It only took us 4 episodes to become Karens. But I live next to a park, or I kind of almost live in a park. My back gate opens onto a bike trail that goes into the city, and there's reserves and there's cricket ovals and everything. And it's lovely.
Must be nice.
It is nice. It is. I am a very common man, but it's definitely nice. But that kind of reserve area, it's almost like open bushland in parts, and that's like my place. I'm a bit of an environmentalist. If you can't,
no idea. I had no idea.
If you hadn't picked that up,
nah,
I love.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me? Well, nonetheless, I love being outside, and I've lived here in this house my whole life. And that's kind of like my sanctuary. I'll go and I'll run there. I'll ride my bike there. Like ever since primary school, every day after school, after uni, after work, I'm out there in some form. Nowadays, I'm taking my dog for a walk, and I've got so bored that we're just exploring like random places like you used to do when you're a kid. You know, walking into bushes and just exploring. I'm having the time of my life out there.
That's definitely the best part of walking, I find.
Yeah, like especially when you're not just on the track, you're actually going 100%, off.
Yeah, 100%. I was walking by that same actually the same walkway, that same area. It's like a park. It's like a bike path, and there's like a runoff. It looks like the car racing scene from Greece.
Yes,
yes. And that's what it looks like.
I
so
know
you
where
visualize
you are.
that.
Yeah.
But it's in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And up the road from that, where it's a little shorter, a little smaller width.
Yep.
There was an entrance off the side. There was an entrance to one of like the
I know swamp, where you are.
Yeah. Not the swamp, there was an entrance into the thing.
Yep.
I saw a bunch of kids with skateboards just like hanging out next to the swamp.
It seems to be what they're doing at the moment. I just see lumps of kids like in drains and stuff as well.
Are we sure we're not in a Stephen King movie?
That's
what I've got.
There's a high likelihood that we might actually be. Yeah,
that would explain a lot. Oh, that's what lockdown is.
But yeah, you're seeing these like kids and stuff out, and it's like that's what's happening everywhere. And the thing that I've always liked about it and why it's my sanctuary is because no one else used to ever go for a walk or be outside. And I could go out there, and that was kind of like my my quiet time, my alone time. But these days, I'm calling it the carnival because I look out my window at this bike track. I'm like, oh, I'll go out for a walk. And I look at the window, and it's just it's like a parade. It's like watching the grand final parade on the bike path. Every man and his dog and his extended family. Turns out people have 20 people households these days are walking down the bike path, and it's absolutely mental.
Every time I go down the bike path, or even a park for that matter, it looks like a scene from, the end of like an 80s movie where like everyone's out in the park.
That's right.
Having fun.
Everybody, you think this is an unrealistic number of people. It's not.
Feels
they
weird.
Really exist. They're all
Why
out
is there a parade right now? This shouldn't be a parade right now, but somehow there is.
Saturday morning, like 10 a.m., everybody's out.
I know.
There. So when I've been on my travels, I've decided to start going different ways, trying to make things more interesting. And I found this like kind of little laneway system back when I was in primary school, and I thought, oh, let's go, I'll ride my bike through there. that was my mistake. I should have stuck to the carnival. I should have joined the parade because I would have had a lot more fun than this. I go into this laneway and I go, that was all fine. And as I'm going into the second laneway, I see a man and he's got 2 dogs in there. All good. What's not good is one of the dogs is wearing a muzzle. That's when you instantly go, oh no.
Not a fan.
No.
Nope.
And this dog, it wasn't an aggressive looking dog, but the best way I can describe it is if Arnold Schwarzenegger was a greyhound. Because
it
looked like a really fast, springy dog, kind of agile, athletic dog, but it was absolutely jacked. And I'm like, oh my God, this isn't great.
It's going to run you down.
It's going to run me
like
down.
The Terminator.
Yeah, 100%. And I've stopped at the entrance to this laneway. And I'm seeing a bike coming the other way. So I'm like, I'll just let him through. As the bike is getting closer to the man and his dog, the man hunches. He leaves one of the dogs alone. He's fine. But he hunches over the muzzle dog, Mr. Schwarzenegger. And he's full on body hugging this dog. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. The bike gets closer and closer. The dog starts growling its head off. It's barking and growling, and I can see it's tensing up. And then as the bike comes past, the dog puts its legs up on the fence that's next to the laneway and springs up out of the owner's arms. It's pushes itself off the fence.
It's something out of a Matrix movie.
Yeah, honestly.
Is it Neo? Are we sure this dog's in Neo instead of Schwarzenegger?
All his pent up energy, he's pushed off the fence with all 4 of his legs. He's done a little hop to get up on there and pushed off and body slammed into the cyclist that's coming past. And the cyclist was fine because he was zooming past, and the dog just kind of whacked into him as he went past, and he was fine. He kept going. And as he drives past me, he goes, "Oh, good luck, mate." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm turning around. I'm 100% turning around. But the owner of the dog, he hears me say I'm turning around. He goes, "Oh, why, mate?" I'm like, "Your dog."
What do you think?
Aggressive, mate.
That dog is a nutbag.
Your dog. You are holding your dog with your arms and your body, and it springs out of your arms and body slams the cyclist. I'm not making the same mistake now that you're not even holding the dog anymore. Oh my God.
Yeah, you make the right move. If you were in a Stephen King murder novel, and the guy was like, why, and they're like, why, mate? It's like, you know what, that's a good point. I'm just going to go down that way anyway. You're going to get killed by whatever that murderous dog is in that Stephen King novel is. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, no,
but it has one.
It's very similar to the joke they make about horror movies, where it's they're home alone, they're 12 years old, the house is haunted, and they decide, let's go into the cellar. That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, you know what I want to do? Let's go.
Oh, you want to? And you would know.
And while we're down there, let's do a Ouija board. What could possibly go on?
Why not? You know what I want to do when I'm home alone? I want to go into the attic. Yeah, that's always a good idea.
Especially when I know it's probably unsafe, and I've been told not to go there. Yeah, and I've actually seen a dead body up there before. I'll definitely do it. 100%. It'll be fine.
Yeah, blood's leaking from the roof. That seems very welcoming. Jono, it's time for some revenge.
Oh no. Oh no.
So, if you watched? I guess you could have watched.
You could have watched
or listened to.
Not many people did either, to be completely honest.
No, let me just get through my bit, Jono. Jesus Christ. If you saw or listened to last week's episode, you gave me a really lovely quiz about extreme mobile discus.
Mobile discus, that's the one.
Ultimate frisbee.
Yep, I did.
Which is a very valid sport, and I'm not going to say anything else bad about it.
Or I'll give you another 10 questions next week, so be careful.
Yeah, I know. I've got to be careful what I say.
And the listeners do not want that.
I thought, Jono, I'm not gonna give you. This is in revenge time.
All right.
I thought this is something that we've both been interested in. I thought, how better to help you get into the mindset of a pro skateboarder than to give you a 5-question skateboarding quiz? Because if you've done some skateboarding, surely you know a little bit about the culture.
I was skateboarding about 2 hours ago, so yeah.
Well, you've got heaps of traction. because balls on the floor when you ride.
Yep.
And you've got heaps of time to really try and hone your questions. There's 5 questions. We'll have one. You want a 50-50? We'll give you a 50-50.
I got a lifeline, a 50-50 lifeline.
You got one lifeline.
Yep, one lifeline.
You got one 50-50.
Okay.
One of these questions is not multiple choice, so you just have to use it before the last question.
Okay, so the first 4 I gotta use it. All right,
First
I'm ready.
4. All right.
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah, I feel the pressure now.
I'm in my final year of uni. I got no test this year.
I know.
So I haven't done a test for a while.
All right. Number 1.
All right.
What shape was the original skateboard created in the 1950s?
Oh my God.
Was it A, an actual oval?
Yeah.
B, a rectangle?
Okay.
C, a really wide octagon?
All right.
Or D, exactly what it is now?
A really wide octagon is very interesting. But, okay. My thought process is that a rectangle wouldn't make the most sense. Because they've probably just got a plank of wood and put wheels on it. An oval is also interesting. And I reckon there's more. I reckon they're like, I can't just be a plank of wood with wheels on it. I'm going to say it was an oval.
I'm sorry, but it was B, a rectangle.
It was a rectangle, yeah.
I
overthunked it.
That's a bad... you overthought it. Yeah, I thought you had a good... You were rising correctly, and then you chipped.
See, this is why in maths you show your workings.
You got to show your working.
Change the question and get the marks.
Unfortunately, there's no working out.
There's no workings in...
There's no workings
in Mr. Petrevsky's quiz show.
But obviously, this question's going to be very easy for you, because you just said you were riding recently.
Yep.
So, when you ride a skateboard, if you have your left foot forward, it's said you're riding regular.
Mm-hmm.
If you're riding with your right foot forward, what are you riding? Is it A, wacky, B, ollie, C, silly, or D, goofy?
Now, Joshua, I can tell you that I have this question in the bag, because not only do I ride my right foot forward, but I'm also an absolute goofball. It's goofy.
You're a fellow goofy rider. There you go. We're both goofy boys.
It's surprised to nobody that we're both goofy.
Surprising no one. We're both goofy.
I don't like riding goofy though, because when you're on the road, your back is to the traffic. It's not good.
I didn't think about that.
It means you are facing like your corners and stuff if you're doing like left-hand turns and stuff, but it also means your back is to the traffic.
That's weird.
It's not good. No.
It's weird. Anyway, Jono, next question.
I'm half.
You're 50-50. You're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
You only need 2 more to win.
2 more to win. I'm ready.
2 more to win, and you'll be basically 50%, and that's about as good as I got.
That is
60%. That's technically better percentage, but it's not really fair because I had 10 and you had 5. But,
and mine was unreasonably difficult.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe you were punishing me last week, but we'll get past that. We'll get past that. We'll get past that. Number 4. Number 4.
Number 3.
The next question, number 3, has to do with skateboarding relating. Is fingerboards. You might remember this when we were kids. So you know this fingerboard stuff.
Yeah.
Tech decks. Obviously, tech decks. I'm a big. I never had them myself, but I saw them a lot on
You're
Saturday.
A big fan?
Saturday.
Yeah.
I always saw them as an ad on Saturday Morning Disney.
Yes.
I was that kid. So
and there was one
the
kid
W
in the year
and
level
whatever
who
the
had
Warner
them.
Bro. Yeah, the idiot who used tech decks.
Yeah.
What year did they come into the market? Was it A, 1996, B, 1997, C, 1998, or D, 1999?
Okay, so 6, 7, 8, or 9. Now, I remember them being pretty popular when we were in early primary school. We were born in the late 90s, early 2000s. So, I mean, that checks out with any of the years.
Yeah.
There was also a bit of a resurgence when we were in early high school. So
I was going to say, like, 10s was around. I remember you'd turn the TV on after school and you'd see...
That's kind of when we'd see them, when we were finishing up primary school, starting high school. I'm going to use my fitty-fitty on this one.
It is fitty-fitty.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'll explain my thought process. Yep.
All right. It is either 1997 or 1998.
I think it was pretty recent, and I was going to say 1999, so I'm going to say 1998.
That is correct.
Yes.
You got that one correct. You're
Yes.
2-0. You've got
Yes.
two wins, 1 losses.
2 wins, 1 loss.
You're getting closer.
Because I feel like they were pretty fresh when we were in primary school and stuff. Like once we sort of as soon as we got to the age that they were designed for, like 8, 9, 10, that's when we started playing with them. So I feel like they were still fresh on the market.
All right. We've got 2 more questions left.
Yep.
How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling confident?
I'm feeling stressed because
you feeling stressed?
they're actually hard. I thought it was going to be like,
John,
what color is my skateboard? Like some questions like that.
John, I don't want to worry you, but you don't have another lifeline.
No, I don't.
You got 2 questions done.
And I wouldn't have got it right if I had
You wouldn't have gotten it right. It was a good lifeline to choose.
It was.
Okay. We talked about the goofy stance. We're both goofy boys.
We're goofy brothers.
We're both goofy boys. Those are whether you ride left hand or right hand, those are called natural stances.
Okay.
But there's also 3 unnatural stances. So which of the following is not an unnatural stance and I just made it up?
All right.
Is it A, a nollie, B, switch, C, fakie, or D, janky?
Okay. I might need the options again.
You got A, nollie, B, switch, C, fakie, or D, janky?
Okay.
Which of them is not an unnatural?
I know switch is.
Okay. Cross that one
I know
out.
switch is a position, and switch is when you're riding goofy and then you decide to ride regular. I think it happens in a skate park when you go up and you come down. Nollie, right. I got no idea. Fakie sounds real. Janky is a word that I incorporated into my vocabulary after hearing it from a YouTube channel. I don't think it's an actual word. I think the only reason you know it is because you watch the same YouTube channel as me. I think janky is the answer.
Janky is correct. Yes. It's not an unnatural stance.
Yeah.
But I don't know what YouTuber I got it from. It's just a thing I've heard.
Oh, there we go. You've probably heard it from me.
I just think I heard it from internet speak.
I'm proud of myself. I'm getting these questions by thinking. And
so first of all, you've passed.
I've passed.
Good news is you've passed.
But I tell you what,
now
Josh.
It's just a stunt on me.
P's get degrees, but they don't get jobs.
That's true.
So you don't just go for the pass, you go for the HD. And that's what I'm going for right now.
Yeah. If you get 4 out of 5, you still wouldn't have technically got as many right as me. Which is okay. That's fine.
True.
Technically, you would. Maybe this whole time that was my trick.
But it is a much higher hit rate. I'm ready to blow you out of the water.
All right. So this next question, there's no multiple choice. You just
got a 10-mark question. You have half an hour.
10-mark question. You've got half an hour, and you got a bit either side of the answer.
Okay.
So this year was the first Olympic Games where skateboarding was an event, right?
Yep.
Obviously, Australia got a gold, and, we're going to lord it over everyone.
That guy was fried. Did you watch that interview?
I didn't.
Oh, mate, he was absolutely fried out of his mind.
Each round goes... How long does a round...
45 seconds.
Yes. He's got it. He didn't even... That is crazy. He's 4 out of 5. Unfortunately, you didn't get as many points as me. So I'm unfortunately going to have to fail you because you didn't get 100%.
Oh, I'm over the moon.
But that's okay.
I'd like to thank God.
You blew that one out of the water.
I'd like to thank Keegan Palmer for his interview. No, it's almost like you chose a topic about something that I was interested in. So
yeah, yeah. I had a hunch that was going to be an easy one, but I figured also I might trip you up with the other ones.
Yes.
Oh. But there you go.
Mate, see,
you got 4 out of 5.
I'm proud of myself
score.
Because
that's 4 out of 5.
If I had have gone with my gut, I wouldn't have got very well. But
that's 80%.
I used my my brain. I don't use
that's
it much.
80%.
So it's nice and fresh. 80%. That's
unfortunately. As far as points gained on the podcast, though, the overall tally is 5-4.
5-4,
and that's something I'm just going to have to lord over.
You know what? I'm going to go with that. 5-4. I'm happy with that. Because mine was hard.
We're gonna have to see next week if maybe we got more quizzes to come, and I guess we'll get on to the next episode.
I think so. Joshua, the Earth be quaking last week. It did. It really did.
And everyone went crazy. Everyone went nuts.
It did.
I went nuts.
Yeah. What? Because it happened. It was actually quite early in the morning. It happened at 9:15, and that's how I realized a lot of people actually sleep in because so many of my friends are like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, it woke me up. I woke up and my bed was shaking." But
I didn't. Luckily, I'm a working man,
you're a
Jono, as
working
you may
man.
know.
You're a suit.
And so I was up. I'm a suit.
Yep.
I don't wear a suit.
Not at home.
when I'm
No.
at home. Barely wear a suit when I go to work.
Yeah.
But I was there, and it threw out my whole internet, and I went all janky for
Did
a
it
bit.
really?
And I got screwed over for that for a bit.
So
Which
were
was
you
fun.
working when it happened?
I was working while it happened, and I realized immediately because I felt everything around me go.
I heard it
And
before I felt it.
Not fun.
Yeah.
Not fun.
That's crazy. So your internet went down. Did it like drop a
My
power
internet
line
went
or
down.
something?
It dropped something. I
That's
have no idea what it
crazy.
dropped.
Yeah.
But it was not fun.
No, when it was happening, I had my noise cancelling headphones in, and I was hearing some kind of noise. I thought it was I have an oil heater next to me that was like vibrating, and I thought that's what that was. And then I put my like leg against my desk, and it was like shaking. Then I took the headphones off, and I could just my desk is in like a corner window, and I could just hear a almost like a wobble ball, those corrugated iron things.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, what's going on? Then my dog started losing her nut, and that's when I realized we're having an earthquake. And as someone who, when they were in year 9, took the subject Angry Earth at high school, I couldn't believe it. I was over the moon. I'm a geography student. I love this kind of thing. And I'm sitting there. I was smiling from ear to ear going, oh my God, this is nuts.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, John. You might not know this about me, but I was one of those kids when you grow up, you have like a couple really big fascinations.
Yep.
And the top of them was space was a really big one for me.
Huge
So
one.
it's that thing where I still have like a bunch of random facts that rattle through my brain.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs and volcanoes. Those were the top 3.
Yeah.
So volcano but the point where like my parents, I have them on my shelf somewhere. These little books, they're like this big. But they had like lots of information. I would just read through those constantly.
I had the same ones about penguins when I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's the curious kid syndrome. Yeah,
it was just weird. It's weird because if anyone's a geography student out there, we don't live near the crack in the plate, so it's really rare for us.
As a geography student, I can confirm that's what it's called. Yeah,
I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, it's a fault line. A fault line.
Fault line. I'm so dumb.
Almost in the middle of one, which is it's crazy. I do
Isn't
know
Australia like right on like the whole plate? Like it's really
yeah. So where we are in Melbourne, we're almost bang on in the middle. None of Australia touches a fault line or is anywhere near a fault line. And I don't actually like. I get the basic concept of how an earthquake can happen not on a fault line. It's to do with like the magma and the underground, like sort of pushing up, and I still don't completely understand how it works. But I decided to do a little bit of research. But
wow, I didn't know we do research on this show.
Well, if you've forgotten, I'm actually a professional researcher, so I went to the most reputable website that I know. It's called.
Oh, can I hand up?
Yep.
I'm gonna guess. Is it Wikipedia?
No, it's more reputable. It's called Duxter's Science for Kids, and I think Duxter's is like a merger of professors and ducks. And I'll put a clip on the video version. It's got a duck wearing a monocle on a top hat, a duck with a detective scope thing, and a duck with a jester's hat, because the smartest ducks wear jester's hats.
Of course.
I had a little bit of a look to see how they happen, and it wasn't very fun. But then I found a bit called Fun Facts about earthquakes.
Well, that sounds very fun.
Exactly.
Can I say that?
Well, this is what I wanted to put the test to you. I want to read you some of these facts. And I've also got another website with some surprising facts. And I want to sort of judge the validity of their statement.
Right. So am I judging them? Am I giving them a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I reckon we give them, out of fun factors, we give them, on a scale of 5 funds, how many funds we give them? I reckon that's what we do.
But is it like a thumbs up or a funds down?
A funds up or a funds down. That's fantastic. I like that.
Okay.
All right, we'll do a couple. So this is from Duxers. They say that the largest earthquake ever recorded in the world was in Chile in 1960 and measured a 9.6 on the Richter scale. The largest in the US was a 9.2 magnitude in Alaska in 1964. That's not fun.
I'm putting a funds down.
That's the funds down.
Down.
That's just a fact. And it must be an American website, because almost every single one of these Even the ones that I'm not going to read out, they just relate back to
Classic.
the US. They bring in
Obviously.
the US unnecessarily.
As they do. Often.
They can happen in any kind of weather. I think that's pretty fun. Oh,
I'm putting a thumbs down. It's dumb. Why would I care? Of course they can go in any time. It has nothing to do with the weather. It could be a sunny day and it could rain. Sure, it could be a rainy day. The plates are under the earth. They have nothing to do with it. It's in the sky, you idiot.
The earthquake is sitting there going, "Boss, I'm ready to go." And he goes, "No, it's snowing today, man. You can't go."
You know what? Just give it a bit. Give it a bit. We got to wait for the rain to clear up. You know, we want to keep it a nice, clean day because otherwise people are not going to be able to run outside to escape from you. Obviously.
Yes, but I disagree. I think that's a pretty fun fact. Okay.
I
think that's pretty fun. I reckon if I was a kid and I read that, I'm like, oh, that's pretty fun. That can happen in any kind of weather. Okay. And then my final one from this website is, it says, unfortunately, scientists cannot predict earthquakes. I think that's pretty fun.
That's a thumbs up.
I reckon that's fun.
It's not very fun for the scientists. Oh,
the scientists will know where they are, blah, blah, blah. They don't. There's actually a court case. I don't have the details on this, but it was an earthquake. Really? I think it might have been Pompeii. Actually, I think it might have been the volcanic eruption that the scientists in the town got put in prison because they didn't predict the volcanic eruption.
Well, I would say that it's not very fun for the scientists, but it's fun for me to hear it.
Yeah,
so I'm giving it a thumbs up.
It is fun. Now, I just want to zing through some surprising facts about earthquakes.
Yeah, speed round.
I've got an absolute zinger of a fun fact that I found about myself.
Go for it.
But here,
I'm ready.
Give
me your zinger.
I'm saving that for the end. You'll get a couple first.
All right.
An earthquake can affect the length of a day. I think that is crazy.
That is a thumbs up. That is nuts. Does it tell you anything else about it, or just say that?
Yep. On March 11, 2011, an 8.9 magnitude earthquake struck the northeast of Japan and altered the distribution of the Earth's mass so much that it rotated slightly faster, shortening the day by 1.8 microseconds.
That's crazy. Can you imagine?
It shook so much the Earth fell over a little bit. It's crazy.
Can you imagine it rained so hard that you were late for school, but only because the time went back by an hour?
It rained so hard. San Francisco is moving towards LA. The two plates, they rub next to each other, and they are grinding away at the Earth, and it's getting closer and closer together. Extremely fun.
I'll give it like a medium.
You give it a medium? It's
funnish. It's funnish.
My second favorite fact is that standing water, so still water, begins to release an odor before an earthquake. That is mental to me. And it must be the water, for all those scientists out there. I'm a pseudoscientist. It must be shaking and releasing, getting hotter, more kinetic energy. There's more space in between the particles.
Yeah.
Something to do with that. I don't know. But
hydrochloric acid.
That's something we use in science a lot.
I was just trying to be part of the team.
That's a science
I was
word.
trying to say a science.
That's
science word.
But my favorite fun fact.
I'm ready for it. Give me your zinger, Jono.
I was listening to a press conference between, I think, what's his name? Boris Johnson. He was talking to ScoMo. Bojo was talking to ScoMo about something.
Good old Bojo.
Yep.
And ScoMo.
He said to ScoMo, he's like, I'm really sorry. Let's not go there.
What kind of Bojo accent is that?
Let's not reference.
Very sorry. Oh, my name is Boris Johnson. I am French, but I am also the Prime Minister of England. Oh.
He's both.
That is No, you know what, Jono? I changed my mind. That is the exact voice I've always imagined Boris Johnson.
Okay, well, I'll stick with it then.
We'll go with it.
I'm very sorry to hear that you have had an earthquake. And ScoMo kind of goes, "Oh yeah, we did," because it didn't affect anyone. Benny's burgers fell over. That's the only thing that happened.
Yeah, it wasn't really an earthquake. But I feel like that's not very fair.
Yeah, it was a big earthquake.
It was an earthquake. It was an earth.
It was a stutter. The Earth was. It
was like an earthquake.
He says, "Oh yeah," and it was in. I think I'm getting better. It was in Mansfield, an area I knew very well. And
I preferred it when you did it before.
I can't remember. But he said it was in Mansfield. He new where this earthquake was. And how does he know Mansfield? I don't even know where Mansfield is, and I've been there.
I've never been there in my life.
Turns out,
I just heard it.
when he was, I think he was straight out of uni, Boris Johnson taught for a couple months at a school in Mansfield. Isn't that
What is?
unbelievable? What is
Wait,
the
is
chances?
that the birth? Okay.
Yeah, what is the chances that there's where the earthquake was in this random Victorian town, the Prime Minister of the UK just happened to teach there? I think that's insane.
That explains a lot, though.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
If you got tortured by the kids from Mansfield as a teacher,
you would turn out like him.
You
Yeah,
turn like Boris
would.
Johnson.
Your hair would.
That's a funds up. That's a funds up.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. Funds up.
Funds up.
Jono, I think I'm going crazy.
Yeah, you are.
I think it's a good start to a segment in a podcast. Yeah. But I think I am. It's one of those things where it happened so long ago, but it's been rattling around in the back of my brain, and we've started this perfect time for us to chat like human beings. I can get your opinion on this.
I can be your therapist.
I think it's an important opinion to have.
Yep, we can work through this together.
I hope so. I hope so. I'd like to, so we can imagine I'm lying back down on your couch.
Yep.
And
you're paying me probably $150 million an hour. Yep.
Yeah,
I like
probably
that.
like
I like
that.
your number better than my number. Yep.
Yeah, I don't like it, but it's probably about correct.
Yep.
Jono, I had a conversation, and it's one of those things where you express an opinion and you assume just everyone does it.
Yep. Yeah.
It turns out you're in the minority.
Okay.
And those are the worst kind of things to find out.
They are. It's on the inverse is when you find out that you're actually in a majority when you thought you were in a minority. Like
but those
down
feel more
for the first one in the morning, like that. When I found out everybody did that, I felt better. I felt warm inside. I felt like I belonged.
Well, yeah. And it's food related.
I love food.
So, and particularly has to do with the construction of burgers.
Very important.
How do you? So, and it particularly has to do with the ordering of it,
the order of the ingredients,
and this is
lettuce and
particularly particularly in that order when you're constructing a burger. So this has nothing to do with if you're getting it out. I guess if you're able to be specific with how it's, but often you're not really. You just get it however they make it. But let's say you're at home and you've nice and made spread for yourself, and this is going to last you a couple of days, and that's always positive.
Always.
You've got a couple burgies.
You put them in the little Tupperware container.
Little
and you see them in the fridge. And you're like,
oh, a nice little tower of like you got your lettuce and tomato. You got maybe some pickles and cheese or whatever.
Yep.
And you got your tomato sauce and whatever hell else you want to make with it. In that order, how do you construct it?
Okay. I think
it doesn't matter what kind of it.
We need to establish the core ingredients, I reckon.
Go for it.
You got your patty. It can be whatever you want, right?
Okay, you know what? Let me give you some parameters, all right?
Okay.
Let's say, regardless if you have this on your burger, the parameters are like a classic burger. I'm talking bun.
Yep.
You got
lightly
your
toasted,
patty.
Lightly toasted, or
okay, we're not. This is not ordering yet. I'll just give you. You got your you got your bun.
Got your bun.
You got your patty. Whatever it is.
Yep.
If you're a veggie, it's probably a veggie patty. Obviously, if you're not, you're not. Obviously.
Yep.
You got your patty. You got some version of a lettuce thing,
or
some
like
kind
a
of
spinach,
lettucey,
or some greens,
spinachy, greeny thing.
Yep.
Tomato or some other kind of sweetie. Thing.
Yep.
And cheese, if you like cheese.
I like that. That's just the core standard.
That's your parameters. Obviously, you have sauces. I'm not talking about sauces yet. Okay, fine. We'll put ketchup on there. We'll put tomato. Put tomato sauce on there.
Tommy sauce.
In that order, how do you organize your
all right, so I start with the buns, lightly toasted, so they don't go too soggy.
Gotcha.
You put my sauce
on the burger.
Both buns.
Both buns.
Both buns.
Okay. Your tomato saucing both buns.
Now we just stick with the bottom bun.
Gotcha.
I'll put the lettuce or the spinach to sort of stop all the juice going through.
Interesting.
I'll then put the tomato, and I used to put it on top of the burger, but it will get the top bun wet. So I put lettuce, then I put the tomato, so the juices don't sink through to the bread. I'll then put the cheese on the burger when it's in the pan.
Yep, so it melts.
So it melts on.
Classic.
Yep, and then I'll put that on top of the tomato. And then I'll close the bun. And if there's anything else like jalapenos or pickles or whatever that you want to put in there,
you put those with the cheese.
They go with the cheese. Yeah,
right.
That's
so you've already keyed out the thing that I've realized I'm in the minority of. When I construct my burger, you got your toasted bun, You got your tomato sauce on the bun. I don't always double sauce my buns, but we'll say
you should try
mostly.
It. You'll be happy.
I may actually try it, but I like to do. If you're going to double sauce your buns, you probably put 2 different sauces. Sometimes I like.
That's a really good idea. That's actually a really good idea. A bit of honey mustard and maybe a bit of
musty or some mayonnaise or something like that.
Yeah,
I like making that like Thousand Island sauce, the tomato sauce with mayonnaise and a bit of pickle juice in it. That's Big Mac sauce.
Pickle juice is good, yeah.
It's the best. Anyway, so you got your bun, you got your tomato sauce. Here's when I realized it was in the minority. I was talking to people. I think I had the thought and I put it out there on a group chat. It was probably about 5 of us. And I was like, guys, just tell me I'm not crazy. And now I'm realizing I am crazy.
No.
But I put the lettuce. If lettuce goes in the burger, it goes on the top bit.
Oh, God, that's horrendous.
I feel like I prefer it on the top bit because I appreciate the crispiness from the top bun more than from the bottom.
I think you have a point, though, because if I'm having like a sandwich or a roll or something, the lettuce goes on last, or the spinach.
The lettuce goes on last. And also, I think it's more shittier to have a soggy top bun than a soggy bottom bun. Because the bottom bun's always going to have the burger on it in some way, shape, or form. Where there's a couple lettuce on it, if there's lettuce or something else, it will divert the
I disagree. I think with a burger, it's so soggy that you have to have the lettuce, a nice thick bit of lettuce.
What kind of sloppy burgers does everyone have that you need to put lettuce on them?
Really juicy ones.
Yeah, but you don't need to put like
the juicy
meat. No, but the juicy burgers still are crisp and they're not like juicy. They don't drip stuff always. You need a nice sealed burger, like coming off like if you get a burger straight up. I had these like lentil burgers and they were just the best.
Yep.
And they were frozen, but they were still so good. I think you were the ones that you told me about them.
Yes.
They were just like the best.
I can't find them actually. They're amazing.
I don't remember which ones I got.
Yeah.
But you take them immediately off the pan.
Yep.
And they're not going to be juicy.
No, they're not.
But they're going to be nice and crispy.
Yeah.
And you don't want to put the crispy.
Any kind of veggie burger, it's not. It doesn't juice
out.
Well,
yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
I think I might experiment with putting the lettuce.
If you toast the bun and put the tomato sauce on there, you've already got a nice seal to really that way. There's not going to be a lot of sogginess on the bottom bun. I just find it nuts. This is real. I'm just expressing my opinion. Everyone who listens here, I know you might think I'm crazy, but just give me a moment because I think I've got a point.
Look,
I thought I was crazy. I started pulling out pictures of burgers online going, I swear to God, I just assumed everyone put lettuce on the top part of the burger. But here I am realizing I'm in the minority.
I think you actually have maybe a point because not to release insider secrets, but I've worked in the food business and from memory, our chicken or beef burgers primarily just your classic ingredients we discussed. The lettuce goes on the bottom because that's what's expected. That's what a customer wants. You don't want to draw attention to yourself as having crazy burgers with the lettuce on the top. No one wants to take
because I'm right.
But if there is something like a slight variation and you have like a coleslaw, we even had ones with kimchi and stuff in them, which was amazing.
Oh my God, kimchi burgers. Now you're making me think about kimchi burgers.
The burger, the chicken, whatever, directly on the bottom bun, there was never a single problem with the bun being too soggy. So I think we, as a society, we actually need to take a step out and a step towards you and go, if you want that little crispiness, put the lettuce on the top and you're probably going to be okay.
I want to give one final plea to the people out there.
This is
you
have your floor for your public service announcement.
Give me a chance. Next time you have a burger and you're thinking, maybe it might be good if I try it my way. And maybe there's another way to try it. And this goes for everything. There might be another way to trying things. So just put your lettuce on top of the burger next time and see how it goes. Then you can yell at me as much as the hell you want. Because you probably will anyway.
And that brings us to the end of episode 4 of The Committee Nons. A very educational episode this week, I believe, Joshua. We learned some fun facts about our earthquakes, didn't we?
We learned some fun facts.
Yeah, and I think I can officially say I'm a professor of skateboarding after that quiz.
You
I think I aced it.
You sure are. You only got 5 points though, so it's about the same amount as me.
4 points.
Don't give
me an extra one. I've got to earn that myself.
I never would. And we totally know what's happened in that last episode.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not recording this outro. We're not recording this later.
Whoa, yeah! What a great episode we just recorded.
Very fresh on my mind. We didn't sit here for 10 minutes trying to work out what we actually went over so we could record this outro.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Anyway, Jono, speaking of Proffesor Skatin, this episode is episode 4. Called Earthquaking Proffesor Skatin.
Yep, the Earth did be quaking this week, but
hey, I got a question.
Stops. Yes,
I got a question, Jono.
I'm here to answer your questions.
Where can they find us?
They can find us on the interwebs, and I've just got to try and remember. Yes, they can find us at the Comedians on Instagram, Twitter, and the TikTok. Actually, blowing up over there. Yeah, blowing up.
We're getting there. We're going.
We're gaining traction.
As a famous person on this podcast once said, to the moon.
To the moon. That's where we're going.
I'm excited.
Look, I think the socials would be blowing up more if we actually put effort into it. If we had a highly social media person do some videography. But...
I tell you what, Jono. Still, again, I'd like to just say thank you to everyone who's messaged us.
The support is unexpected, and it's lovely.
It's fantastic. And I'm happy to be doing this with you, Jono. It's very nice.
It's nice. It's a good good break of routine, a good catch up with lots of listeners. So if I make a joke and you don't like it doesn't matter, because someone out there will like it.
All right. I'll see you later, John.
I think it's time to say adios.